let's take a look at the top 5 best stars from the 2020 playoffs so far. Now, this is the NHL Hockey News Reports. Hope you enjoy your day today and this video. It was a pretty tough list to make. Only 5 players I am able to pick here, and not the easiest because there's so many players you can put out here. And I have a couple honorable mentions to put out there. 3 honorable mentions, and the team was so good, but there's some honorable mentions before we get into this top 5. So before we get into it, we are only 4 away from 300 subs. Be much appreciated. Thank you so much. 2 subs today. I was at 194, now I'm at 196, so very happy about that. So let's get into the honorable mentions. I'm not going to write them down for the honorable mentions, but for the top 5, I will. So, the first honorable mention, it's not in order. This is the honorable mentions. Corey Perry, he's been really solid in this playoffs. Number 2, John Klingberg. Okay, he's been a great defenseman for sure. And Joe Pavelski. Those are my 3. They did not make the top 5, but boy, it was tough for me to not put one of those guys, or all those guys, in the top 5. Now, I'd like to start off with number 5. Here we go. Alexander Rajaloff. Now, Alexander Rajaloff, before these playoffs started, he was on my list, literally, of a player that could be bought out during the offseason. And he was. He really was. And these playoffs have been absolutely fantastic for him. He's scoring. He's a great playmaker. And he used to be a Montreal Canadian, my favorite team. And so I know how good he plays, how amazing he plays. That 1 year with Montreal, he can get pucks in places that no other player usually can at times. Very rare players can do. And he's a great player to get opportunities started. And he's a great playmaker, passer, whatever you want to call him. And a great goal scorer. Very talented player. And he kind of rejuvenated his scoring with the Dallas Stars. And I'm glad. He's been really, really solid. And I could not help but put him in the top 5 for helping him out to score. Because one thing Dallas Stars had trouble through the many years of playoffs and during the seasons and all that is to score. Last time there was such a good scoring team was when they had Carl Lettinen and Anton Hudopin as the goalies. So, seeing this, the momentum is in the direction. It's great to know. Number 4, here we go. The only reason I have a note here to see who it is, so I can spell the name, like Mio Heisken. Mio Heisken has been an absolutely fantastic defenseman. Now, I was debating John Klingberg or Heisken. I'm like, but Heisken has like 22 points. He's been so good. How do I not put him in? How do I not put him in this top 5? So I said, fine. I'll give Klingberg an honorable mention. That's why I started my honorable mentions. But Heisken is absolutely fantastic, talented, young defenseman. What a fantastic defenseman he is. He's so good, and look at the experience he's getting. And look, the experience of going to the Stanley Cup final in his 2nd year. Look at that. He's been fantastic. He really has. Fantastic. Okay, let's look at number 3. And that's Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn is the captain. He is leading this team, and he's done a fantastic job in these playoffs. And he's consistently putting the points up. So he's just been fantastic because, I know Sagan and Ben be together, and then they wouldn't be together, and they would be together, and then inconsistency, so they take them apart, and they try to put them on different lineups. That whole thing, but Ben has been consistent from day 1 in these playoffs. Consistent. That's who they won against the Flames. That's why they won against the Avalanche. That's why they won against the Golden Knights. And that's why they're here in the Stanley Cup final. Either the Lightning or the Islanders. It's looking more like the Lightning right? 3-1 series lead is more in favor of the Lightning so far at this standpoint. So Jamie Benn is a fantastic player, and he comes in big, and he was a big part of why they beat the Golden Knights in 5 games. Number 2. Dennis Gurianov. Now, Dennis Gurianov is absolute pleasure to have. I would say so. He is a guy who is a rookie, and an underrated rookie this season for sure. People overlooked him. You see McCaw, you see Kubalik, you see Hughes, you see Suzuki, all these great goal scorers or defensemen, and people forgot about Gurianov kind of here. He's 23, very good player, and he has shown it big in these playoffs. And it's going to be a great experience as a rookie going right to the Stanley Cup final in your rookie season. So he's been a big part of those scoring. 4 goals in 1 game, remember that? And then the OT winner in the Western Conference final in Game 5, another very important goal. Very important goal. Because Vegas could have tied it, for example, and given them a Game 6. But, man, the Stars are absolutely so dominant in that third period of Game 5. Like, I know it was 2-0, became 2-1, 2-2, and after 2-2, they kept the pressure on to the last second until that buzzer happened. And I'm sure Vegas was so happy going to OT. Like, okay, we get a break, because they were absolutely all over them. Absolutely all over them. And they just, down to the buzzer, it was the Stars battling, trying to score on Lennon, make it 3-2 before OT. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did score then, because it's so much pressure they had. Number 1, and you probably already know what number 1 is. He's been so good through this whole thing, and here's number 1. I forgot to put a Hudopin, but that's no problem. I'm sure you know it's Anton Hudopin. So Anton Hudopin's been an absolute fantastic goalie. I know he's a backup to Bishop, but Hudopin played better than Bishop, because Bishop played that 1 game. He was absolutely awful, like 5 goals in 1 period. And it was Hudopin's net for sure. Let's try out Bishop, and no. So after that Avalanche series, I felt like Hudopin really got the confidence, because that Game 7 wasn't, it looked like Hudopin was shaky during that series, but Golden Knights, he looked very confident, big in the net, and he had the confidence that kept him going, literally. And that's why they're here. A big part of why they're here is Hudopin. Now, who could be Conn Smythe winner? Hockey guys say Hudopin, and I would be, if he keeps on that streak like he did in the whole playoffs and in the final, that'd be great if he does that. If they win the Stanley Cup, Hudopin would be a great one. Jamie Benn. Going on, if I don't know, Heisken, but more like Hudopin or Ben, because they've been absolutely there. And if both of them weren't there, who knows? Maybe Golden Knights would have had a lead on them. Who knows, right? So, what a great story here. And also, Tyler Seguin did not even make my honorable mention. He's starting to heat up and become a really solid. He's starting to heat up and get the points now. So that's great to know that. So, thanks for watching. Let me know your top 5. If you have a top 5, I should do one of Vegas of what they did during the conference final. But like the video, ding the bell, comment, share. Have a nice day. It's NHL Hockey News Sports. I will see you in the next video. Let's get the 300 subs. 4 more. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Goodbye.